Hey there, friends. Maelea here, back for yet another video in our series about the 5 superpowers for success in collaboration and relationship building, and how these same superpowers can really help you level up in your entrepreneurial endeavors. So we've talked about superpower number 1, which is pause. We've talked about superpower number 2, listen. Superpower number 3, be curious, is what we talked about last time. And today we're going to focus in on superpower number 4, which is the one I always get the most pushback on. And it is assume good intentions. Next time we'll talk about the last of the 5 superpowers, which is withhold judgment. But today we're going to focus in on this idea of assuming good intentions. Do you, in your entrepreneurship, when you're in your business, do you ever feel stuck, bored, angry, polarized, disrespected, or like you're getting one-dimensional solutions all the time because you're the only person whose eyes are on the work that you're doing? Well, this idea of assuming good intentions can really help us get past some of these things that we feel as entrepreneurs. So let me kind of talk about it a little bit. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, especially if we're solopreneurs or we're working in a really small business and we don't have a team, we get in this space where we think the same way all the time. We lean toward the same kinds of solutions. We veer down the same kind of path. And that can lead to this feeling of being stuck, bored, one-dimensional. Or it can also like pigeonhole us where we feel like we're the only person in the space that thinks like we do, so maybe we feel disrespected, or maybe sometimes it makes us get angry. So we've talked before about being able to pause, listen, and be curious. All 3 of these skills are necessary to be able to effectively employ this idea of assuming good intentions. So let me give you an example. I have had mastermind and coaching clients before who, in the process of trying to help them move forward in their business, someone in the mastermind, or maybe if it's a coaching client, a suggestion that I might have made would be take this action, or someone in the group would say, oh, what if you take this action as a suggestion? And that person responds by saying, oh, I've tried that. I've already done that. I've already tried that. Didn't work. Never worked for me. So that person who responds that way is kind of stuck in their one-dimensional thinking. If, however, I could get that person to assume good intentions on the part of the people speaking to them, then sometimes they can stay in the conversation a little bit longer. They can listen to the recommendation a little bit more deeply and get to a place where it can actually be helpful to them. One of the things that I like to say in 2021, I'm recording this in April of 2021. And in the United States, in April 2021, we are a very polarized and divided society, and people are really entrenched in their position and beliefs, and it makes having productive conversation really difficult. And if we can just assume that the other person in the conversation wants the same great outcome that we do, then it will enable us to stay in the conversation longer, to listen to information that may be different than what we think, or different than ideas that we have, or different than a path that we had considered going down. It may also lead us to a much more robust solution. So, as an entrepreneur, if you are really thinking this one way and you enter a conversation with somebody who's trying to help you and you keep shutting them down because you can't assume those good intentions, then you may miss out on a great idea or a great solution. What's really hard about this particular skill is that it's all about setting your own personal mindset intention in order to get the great results. In order to practice assuming good intention, and in order to get better at it takes practice, then you just have to repeatedly commit when you enter a conversation, whether that's with one other person or a group of people, say in a mastermind or a collaborative setting. You just have to commit. All right, I'm gonna assume that everybody who's participating in this conversation wants the same great outcome, whether that outcome is for them or for me or for us in conjunction with one another. But to do that and hang on to that assumption of good intent is very difficult, especially when our own biases, beliefs, entrenched ideas get threatened or challenged, is probably a better word, by the conversation itself. So it's really an internal commitment to reminding yourself all the way through the conversation that everybody's in this for the same great outcome. Everybody involved wants a great outcome. So, as an entrepreneur, when people are trying to give you suggestions, they're not trying to control you. They're not trying to take over your business. They're trying to help you. So, assume those good intentions and listen for longer. It may be that the particular suggestion or recommendation you're hearing is not 100% aligned with where you're going, but there might be a nugget of brilliance in there that you can utilize, which, if you can't assume that good intent, you might disregard out of hand. So assume good intentions is what we're talking about. And what can you get? What are the benefits of being able to build this skill of assuming good intentions for your entrepreneurial endeavors? Well, one thing I can tell you is that if you look at successful businesses in the last, especially 10 years, you can point to a lot of businesses that were disruptive. Businesses that employed change in order to move forward. They disrupted markets, and they were able to do that in a way that helped them move forward. Well, if you aren't willing to listen and assume that there are good ideas in there to anything that's contrary to what you're thinking, then you'll never get to that place where you can be that agile disruptor. Okay? The other thing that happens is assuming good intentions can help you in building that skill of listening. Because you're listening with the intent to find those nuggets through even things that are hard to hear. It gives you practice in being patient. It makes you appear more approachable and helps you build a culture where very differing ideas are welcome and allowed and actually embraced. Because if we can assume everybody's here with good intent, then we really can debate heartily some ideas. So utilize this idea of assuming good intentions in order to really, truly, and deeply engage in challenging conversations that are going to help you move your business forward, make it more adaptable and agile and disruptive so that you can build your business and move forward in the way that you want. Okay, we are 4/5 of the way there. Pause, listen, be curious, and assume good intentions. I want to hear how it is that you are thinking about applying all of these ideas in building your business. And if you are the least bit curious or interested in learning more about the masterminds that I offer, where we absolutely incorporate these skills and work on building them, then I would love to talk with you about being a part of one of my mastermind groups. You know how to get to me: LinkedIn, Facebook, email. You've got my cell phone number. Reach out, schedule a call with me, get on my calendar. I would love to chat. I would love to know how you're incorporating all of these skills and how you're practicing them to build them into superpowers. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you next week.